It's like a first aid kit for your immune system. Hi little nerds, I'm motherglover and I'm here today to talk to you about how you should get a sick kit. Now, if you've been living on your own for a little while, or if you're in residence or you're in university or college, then you're going to probably get sick. And being sick when you're away from home is one of the worst things that can happen, simply because there's no one to take care of you, and that's really, really terrible. Back when I had an apartment on my own. I'm a teacher, so I was teaching. It was like a first or second year of me teaching, and the Norwalk virus was going around. And what that is, it's a bunch of dirty little kids who go to the bathroom and don't wash their hands after they come out. So then they touch doorknobs and things like that, and then I touch doorknobs and then feed myself, and oh, guess what? I have the crazy Norwalk virus, which basically means I couldn't be more than 10 feet away from a bathroom at any given time because it was bad. Okay, so basically I didn't have any groceries, I didn't have a sick kit, I didn't have anything to help me out through this. So I literally, at 26 years old, was calling my mom and being like, Mom, I'm so sick. And thankfully I was in the same town as her, and she came over and she brought me like soups and crackers and things too. And I was out for 3 days. So you want to make sure that this stuff is very, very important. Okay, so what I have for you is a list of stuff that you should be putting into your sick kit, and hopefully it'll come in handy. Okay, so let's see. Mine is a box like this, okay, with mustaches on it. Yours can be anything you want it to be. A little lunch box, a cooler bag, whatever. Mine just is large because that's what I had, but anything that you can have that you can tuck into your closet or under your bed, just something so it's accessible, that you can reach when you need to. First up, you need medication. Now keep in mind that if you get a cold or a flu, or if you're throwing up or whatever nastiness is happening to you, you're going to need some sort of relief of that. Now keep in mind that obviously cold medications don't actually cure anything, but they may relieve the symptoms enough that you can sleep. So I have like extra strength Tylenol. Here is like a neocitrin. This is like a cold and flu medication. Here's another one. It's a day and night one. Just something to relieve your cough or your fever or whatever. You can also get Gravol or anything that stops you from obviously feeling terrible. Also, keep in mind that cold and flu medication does affect the effectiveness of birth control pills. So if you are taking birth control pills and you are also taking cold and flu medication, just make sure you understand that that could be a problem, okay? You want stuff in your sick kit that you don't want to have to run to the store to get, all right? Basically because you wouldn't be able to. So things like Imodium, okay, or things that do, or extra toilet paper, that would be a great thing for you to have on hand for obvious reasons. The other thing too is I would keep an extra roll of toilet paper in your sick kit. You don't necessarily need Kleenex either. Kleenex is sort of, or tissue, facial tissue is basically just fancy toilet paper, so just use toilet paper to blow your nose and stuff like that, okay? Tea, any sort of tea is really helpful. Also honey, it's a great relief for the throat. That's a good thing to have in there. And then you're going to need some food. It's very important to keep food in your sick kit and never go in there and touch it, okay? This is not snacky food. This is stuff you need for the dire emergency. Something's happening. You're trapped in your apartment or your dorm room and you can't get access to your meal plan or a store for any of this stuff. Soup mixes, like an onion soup mix or ramen noodles. It's not about nutrition, all right? It's about sustenance when you can actually eat solid food again. So I would definitely get a bunch of these. I have about 3 days worth, okay? Because it could be things happening. Just regular old chicken noodle soup, never hurt anybody. Only get things that you can make with water, okay? Make it with a kettle or a microwave, simply because you're not going to be able to really fuss around with anything or depend on extra ingredients. So nothing with dairy or like milk or butter. You don't want mac and cheese for this. It's not really good for a big thing of crackers when you can't keep anything down and if you're nauseous. Also, try to get yourself a thermometer, a digital thermometer that you take orally. But you definitely want to have a thermometer, because nobody will have a thermometer where you are, to make sure that you're not getting to a danger zone in your temperature. There's a lot of people who get fevers. They don't really understand how dangerous that can be. So make sure that you have that set up for yourself. Just to tell you the importance of this, I had a roommate who went off tree planting for the summer, and he got a subletter in, and this subletter only ate sandwiches and chunky soup, and my other roommate was chopping up chicken on the cutting board. Long story short, a subletter comes, makes a sandwich on some chicken cutting board, gets wicked food poisoning, and is throwing up and things coming out. It was a bit of a mess, and basically because he couldn't keep anything down, he got severely dehydrated. Now, dehydration is a real problem, so you have to make sure that you have something in here. Usually you can access water, that's not a problem, but a ginger ale will probably help too. Just make sure you're keeping the fluids going, because he was delirious. Like, he came out, he didn't recognize us. He thought everyone was dead. Like, we had to basically wrap him up in a sleeping bag and take him to the hospitals, because it was kind of a dire circumstance. So make sure that that's not you. Other than that, sick kit, I hope that you will all be fine and dandy, but when you're not, at least you know that there's something here, and keep in touch with people nearby. Tell a friend that you're sick, just in case something happens to you. They can come check on you every once in a while. It's always good to have some company and help. All right, until next time, feel better.